Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor for the NCAA. And today we're continuing our series of training videos for 2023. And we're going to be focused in on game action from Week 8. Now, before we get into our plays, I want to take a moment to talk about two areas of officiating. Number one, kick plays. We have to do a great job in kick plays. And let's really focus in our pregame conference. Cover everything that can happen there. Because if anything unusual is going to happen, it's going to happen on a kick play. So let's prepare ourselves well. And second, let's do not let up on our sideline management and control and our work with coaches. It's so important we do a great job communicating with them. But remember, if they come out onto the field, put 2 feet in the green grass, and debate an officiating decision, that's not a judgment call. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, and we need to put the marker down. But let's do a great job of communicating with our coaches. That is so important. Now, as far as fouls per game, we're averaging 14.1 fouls per game this year, and that's down about half a foul per game in FBS. So where's that coming from? Especially since we're slightly up in offensive holding. We're up 0.2 fouls per game in offensive holding. But our number one penalized foul is false start. And we've penalized over 1,300 false start fouls this year. But if you compare that to last year, we were over 1,500. So that accounts for over half of the reduction that we've had this year. And where's the balance coming from? Well, unsportsmanlike conduct and personal fouls, they are very level with last year. But 3 areas are slightly down. Blocks in the back, illegal blindside block, and defensive pass interference. Those 3 are down slightly, coupled with our down in false start. We're down a half a foul per game. So let's continue the good work. Let's put our marker out when it's needed, but make it be a quality foul. So with that, let's get straight on into our plays. Our first play this week, we see the quarterback. He drops back to pass. He's under immediate pressure from number 40 of the defense. He throws the ball toward 28 and then takes a big hit from the defender, and we get a flag from our referee. Now, we get an announcement.
He is strong, man. Roughing the passer. Defense number 5 with body weight. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
As we go back and take a look at the replays, this is a good call. As defender number 40, he makes contact. It's not late, but then he punishes the quarterback into the ground. Excellent call, but let's not use the term body weight on our announcements. As the NCAA rule states, forcibly driving the passer to the ground and landing on the passer with action that punishes the player, that's roughing the passer. But it really doesn't specifically describe body weight or percent of body weight. We're looking for the punishing action, which we do get on this play. So an excellent call. Let's tweak our announcement. Also make sure we get the proper number. But this is the type action we want to be called as roughing the passer. Play 2, the offense punts. Now the receiver moves to get into position to make the catch. He calls for a fair catch, and then he's going to muff the ball, and kicking team player number 80 is going to grab the kick and start back toward the end zone. Now we know that the kickers cannot advance a kick, and the ball is dead when number 80 gains possession. But we see the officials, they come together to discuss the play, and then we're going to drop a flag late for kick-catching interference. Now, we know by rule that there's a difference on this play if the receiver gives a valid fair catch signal or not. And he did give a valid signal here, so the receiver gets an unimpeded opportunity to complete the catch even after he muffs it. And we're going to see that number 80 really took the ball when the receiver still had an opportunity to potentially make the catch. So this is a correct call for kick-catching interference, and the penalty is enforced 15 yards from the spot of the foul, and the receivers have the ball 1st and 10. Now, if there would have been no valid fair catch signal here, then we know that his kick-catching protection ends when the kick hits the ground, the receivers touch or muff the ball. And so without a signal here, this would have been legal for number 80 to possess the ball. Play 3, and we had much discussion about this play this week, but we're going to see late in the game, the offense lines up to punt. The kick, it lands about midfield, bounces high. Receiver number 3 recovers the kick, spins, returns down the sideline, cuts back across the field, and goes all the way back into the end zone. Now, the ruling on the field is touchdown, but replay is going to stop the game for review. Now, initially, folks thought replay was looking to see if the return man stepped out of bounds, but replay was looking at the signaling by number 3. And we know that the player can point to a kick as long as there's no waving motion and the hands stay at or below the shoulders. But any waving motion by the receiver is considered an invalid fair catch signal. And when the receivers possess the ball after this waving motion, the invalid signal, the ball's declared dead at that point and there's no return. And we see number 3, he comes across the field and he's going to point with his right hand, so that's okay, but the left hand has clear waving motion, so replay reviews this and determines there is waving motion, which is an invalid fair catch signal, so the ball is declared dead at the 46, where number 3 first possessed it. And we know that the purpose of the fair catch provision is to protect the receiver who, by using the fair catch signal, agrees they or a teammate will not advance after the catch. But any waving motion is considered an invalid signal, and that invalid signal does not allow advance by the receiving team as well. So, wish we'd have gotten this on the field, but good job with replay coming in and settling this properly and giving the ball back to the receiving team at the spot where they first possessed it. Play 4, we've got a 3rd and 1 situation. The quarterback's going to roll to the right. He continues to roll almost to the boundary, and then he flips the ball to receiver 84, who makes the catch for a first down and then drives forward for extra yardage. Now, we must always be alert when a receiver threatens the sideline. We must get a hat down if the receiver goes out of bounds. But we had no hats down on this play. But as we see the first replay, it appears that 84 does briefly go out of bounds, so replay is going to stop the game for review. Now, the first down pylon cam gives us a great view, and we see that 84 does go out of bounds on his own, then he reestablishes in bounds, makes the catch. But we know that if the receiver goes out of bounds on his own and he's the first to touch the pass, then it's a foul for illegal touching, and the penalty is loss of down at the previous spot. Now, we know that if the defender were to force the receiver out of bounds, they can immediately return and not lose their eligibility. But here, this is a good job by replay coming in and creating the illegal touching. That's one of the 8 fouls that replay can create from the booth. But on the field, let's make sure that we're alert to this and we get a hat down when the receiver goes out of bounds. Play 5 is going to be a tough bind situation for the headline judge. But we're in the second extra period. We're snapping from the 6. So we know that the headline judge and line judge have goal line. The side judge and field judge are lined up on the back pylon. Now, a note here, the line to gain is the 3. So by our mechanics, we should not go straight to the goal line, but we should pause at the line to gain before then working to the goal line. Now, the offense is going to throw to the back out of the backfield. He's hit, he goes out of bounds just beyond the line to gain, and the headline judge works back and he gets a great spot. Now, if we look at this play through the all-22 camera, the headline judge goes straight to the goal line, and really we should pause at the line to gain, be ready to move to the goal line, but hold tight to that line to gain in case it's threatened. Now, I know the play comes right into your lap, and so you make an excellent spot on this play. No complaints here, so good work. I just want to highlight our mechanic of going to the line to gain and then to the goal line when both lines are in play. Play 6, the quarterback drops back. He's going to throw downfield to the right boundary, and 0 of the defense picks it off, and he's going to return it all the way back for a touchdown. Now, there's a flag down on the play, and we get a good announcement by our referee.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 58. The actions by number 58 have been ruled to be flagrant. Number 58 is ejected from the contest.
Wow.
Score is good. The penalty be enforced on the kickoff.
So as we go back and look at the replay, we see number 58, he goes after an opponent, the opponent that's down on the ground, really face down, and he spears that opponent with his helmet. And this is good judgment to make this not only a personal foul, but a flagrant personal foul and eject number 58. And remember also, if a player is face down on the ground, he's defenseless. So if there's forcible contact to the head or neck area, it could be targeting as well. But finally, as we look at the All-22, we see that this is really a live ball personal foul as the contact occurs as the runner is just past midfield. But since this was a personal foul by the non-scoring team, the enforcement, really a carryover to the try or succeeding kickoff, would be the same if it's either a live ball or a dead ball personal foul. But if this were a foul by the scoring team, live ball versus dead ball would be critically important. Finally, good job by the crew here. We had 3 flags down on the play. Good job to keep eyes wide open to action away from the ball. Play 7, and I know we have plenty of uniform issues out there, but our role for now is if we have a player that is significantly out of scope, that we will take action. Now, this player, I do believe, would qualify under any definition of being significantly out of scope. Really, these are not football pants, but they're shorts. And if as a crew we see this, but we're concerned about interrupting the flow of the game, then we could at least let the player and the coach know after the play that we expect this to get corrected before the next kickoff return. This is just too much. And my expectations and my commitment to you is we're going to get definitive guidance from our rules committee for the 2024 season. But for now, when a player is significantly out of scope, let's take action and get it corrected. Our last play this week is a bit unusual, but we're going to see we're late in the fourth quarter. The offense is down 3 points, and they're going to throw inside the 30-yard line, but the pass is going to be intercepted by number 12 of the defense. Now, we've got multiple flags down on the play, and the crew comes together to discuss what happened after the play, and we get a good announcement by our referee.
The result of the play is an interception. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Pittsburgh number 3, pulling an opponent off the pile. That penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. Also after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Pittsburgh number 3, his second of the game. That penalty will also be enforced half the distance to the goal, and number 3 is ejected.
Now, as we go back and take a look at the replay, we see that defensive back number 3, he comes in and pulls offensive player number 80, really just drags him off the pile, and that's a foul for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, usually we see an immediate reaction by the player being pulled off the pile, but number 80 was injured on the play and no reaction. But then we're going to see number 3, he's going to bump into number 30, and then he aggressively charges him. The side judge does a really good job of separating the two and getting the marker out. But that makes the second unsportsmanlike conduct foul, number 3, both on this same play. But since both fouls are dead ball fouls, we're going to penalize both, but number 3 is going to be ejected for having 2 UNSs, even though they're both on the same play. So really good job by the crew here, staying alert in the dead ball action. And remember, we need to make sure that the player leaves the team area under team supervision. We need to just verify that he's left the team area. Well, that's it for our plays this week. And let's use these plays to spark discussions in our pregame conferences. And let's keep our pregame conferences fresh. Even though we're headed into week 9, it's so important that everybody participates, it's fresh. Make sure you're personally bringing something to the pregame. Don't just ride along. Now, let's make sure we have quality fouls. Make it be there. We want to be good dead ball officials. Stay alert in the dead ball period. Excellent communications with coaches, players, and other officials. That's so important. Use your winning words. Let's be great game managers. And finally, display your integrity, courage, and poise. That's so important. Let these tight situations reveal our true character. Best of luck.